Yeah, JMO's on the call. This must have been pretty awesome news, announcing Linkerd's graduation. So
Oh, little throwing little hats in the air and
yeah,
donning fancy robes. I was gonna ask, what is the, because we on one of the shows we went through how you get out of, yeah, there we go, incubation to sandbox to incubation. Like we read through
all
the
the steps.
engagement, the steps, right? And it was to get to graduated, like you're in the camp with Kubernetes
Yeah.
and Prometheus, like that. That's
Yeah, you have to
that's
have like a
freaking
whole
huge.
hierarchy, a bunch of maintainers. You have to have some sort of meeting, I believe. There's a lot of things that have to
Yeah,
be set up and consistently run. So it's awesome.
yeah, you're not messing around there. So that is pretty.
A different kind
Let's
of
leave it
service
up
mesh.
actually.
Yeah.
Right. Uh, Linkerd first service mesh project. I want to see what they coined this thing. I want to see how they describe themselves. Intense competition from the industry. Blah, 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 blah.
Smaller, simpler service mesh built on the foundation of secure, future-forward technologies like Rust, rather than legacy like C++.
There you go.
Linkerd is built with a single focus on empathy for the user. Yeah, Istio
Is
does
it
not have a lot of
empathy?
empathy for the user.
Did you say? Where are you reading
It
that?
says,
Is it here?
you scrolled back up as I was reading it, but
I'm such an idiot. Yeah, I
anyways,
agree with everything you said.
we gotta see how empathetic it is towards you.
All right, so there's going to be some good and bad here, mostly good. Let me get into. All right, let me just describe the scene. So
Yeah,
I'll
and
get rid of
luckily
this.
Jason's watching, so
Yeah,
he
yeah, no
can let
pressure.
us know
Okay, so
where we've missed out and what
all
we need to
right,
fix.
so the motivation here, and most of my motivations for experimenting with tools, is my Raspberry Pi cluster, which is just above this skateboard deck there. It's not on camera right now. That's where our website lives. So if you go to our website, if you get put comments, so we have live comments to criticize what I'm doing. That's what I mean, y'all. Um, was to get a service mesh on my Raspberry Pi cluster and just see what it did. And as I think of something like, and you're going to correct me already, November 2020, I think it was, support for ARM64 came out, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to jam it up there and see what happens. And I used a combination of technologies to do that because I wanted to play with a few different ones. And the one I thought was the easiest way to get it onto a Raspberry Pi was to use Alex Ellis's, and he's the one who I also used to install Q3S onto the Raspberry Pi, Arcade. And let me just share up and you can see what Arcade is. So, and I hadn't used Arcade before. So I'm kind of doing a dual mini ToolTime in front. So this is Arcade. And the open source Kubernetes marketplace, it works whatever. It doesn't have to be for Pi, right? But it works anywhere. And if you want to install something like Linkerd, you just kind of type Arcade install Linkerd, and then you can see the post install screen for an app. A little like Helm can do this, Arcade info. But what's interesting about Arcade is that it's kind of agnostic to, there we go, to what the install process actually is. So where's my oh, it's lost connection to the pod. Of course, that means my demo is dead. Let's just do it again. Boom. What? Hold on. VPNs.
Uh-oh.
All right, I gotta kill my VPN. If I disappear for a second, yeah. Ah.
Yeah, your VPN on during a stream? What is
No,
this?
you can only turn the VPN on. I'm not going to say where I work,
Okay,
but
yeah.
we are forced to use our own VPNs. I'm still coming through, right?
Yep.
And because of that, I can only turn it off for like 45 minutes. So the second the countdown's going, I turn it off.
Yeah.
And where are we? 45 minutes in?
Kicked you out, pretty much.
Yeah. And it just goes, ta-da, I'm back. What were you doing? It's dead now. All right. So
okay. We're back.
you're okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Good. All right. Good. Yeah, I can see. my Wi-Fi just went dipped and came back. StreamYard's telling me. You tell me if it's garbage, but so that's going to come up. And what I really want to do is just run Arcade. Install. Let's see if this dash H works. So is that too small, you think? Yeah, this is the.
You can zoom in a little bit.
These are the things. All right, cool. I'll do that.
There you go. We can see all the pods that are.
Yeah, this is the options. These are the options. So if I want to install Argo CD, Cert Manager, like normally you go off and you're like, oh, what's better? Helm? Is there YAML for it? Or what I have to change? Like it actually has some pretty good brains built into it. So I just did the install Linkerd. And all sorts of stuff happened.
Okay.
And it worked. And
did it just take you through some options to configure?
Nope. It just worked.
Wow.
It was like, it wasn't instant, but it worked. And I was pretty super happy about that. So then it installed the command line tool, Linkerd. It called it 2, which is what, I don't know quite why it did that, but because in my other window, I've got Linkerd just installed. So I have both installed. And then you can, and so that was automatically installed. I didn't have to go get it. You can do that with Brew. Yeah, he's thinking Jason's saying it's 2-in-1. It's all there.
Don't use
There's a 2-in-1. Don't use one. I see. They were getting insights already. So I've got 2 there. And from there, I had my everything going. Now, so this is where I ran into a problem. In order to get the most out of it, I wanted some kind of app to run in my environment, and I'm running ARM64. So getting something running that is useful, that's going to provide reasonable metrics so that we get the most out of it, became a major pain in the backside. And depending on which environment I'm in here, I don't care if the world sees what pods I have running, whatever area this is. Yes, this works out. So these are the pods. So what I tried to do was I tried to get it to run on the website so that it was running on the cluster website. And it bombed because our deployment had prevented mounting of the default service account and had a security context that was ticking all the security boxes. Like we're doing a show about security, right? So I made sure that our deployment, which is in the public GitHub, had passed all the security checks. But it bombed out trying to write IP tables because it said it had to be root. And that was the next one. I got rid of the service account and I was okay to mount that. But then I had to change the security context. And I was like, So I don't know if that is, I had a mental block there. Great. Put that on the screen. This is why Jason is in the thing. There's a CNI plugin to avoid the need for root. I did not know that. Please tell us what that is. And I will then get it up and running in my pies, because we said already there's going to be a part 2 to this, because getting Linkerd going is not exactly it's one thing to get it going. It's another thing to show how awesome it is in a proper context. So that screen just came up in the wrong window. So let's pop it up over here. So what I did instead, let's see if it does it.
Yeah, you went over to, there you go. So you can offload setting up pod networking without needing the init pod to have permissions to write IP tables.
So that's what I want to do. So I took the moron approach, which, by the way, Jason, is what we do on this show. Is I like, all right, well, I haven't done this, so I'm just gonna go to the README, or I'm just gonna go to Arcade, right, and see that it's possible, and just go blah and try whatever the default is.
We screw it up, so
that's
people don't have to screw it up.
Right. We're showing you, if you pit the 2 biggest idiots at this, how badly can it be? So then I went to Civo, because
fail early.
Foster had such success with Civo. Here's my Civo. And I installed, while I was at it, I got that going. I got the Viz dashboard. I threw Tecton, Opa, Falco, and Prometheus in there because I thought, well, now I'm set up for some future demos.
Mm-hmm.
And I got Linkerd in here, and I've got some right away. I was like,
Everything's up.
This is like Balam. And I added Sock Shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I added Sock Shop using the Linkerd inject. So basically, I just cat the complete demo,
Mm-hmm.
pipe to Linkerd inject with a dash, pipe to K apply dash F dash, one line. It's in the instructions for Linkerd. Like I'm not doesn't mean to be a rocket science. And it goes, and so you're not permanently changing your deployment, but you get a meshed deployment of
so
it in there.
When
and
you're
it was
doing
like,
that, are we basically like adding the annotation so that Linkerd understands it needs to inject the sidecar in that deployment?
That was what that's the impression I got. It's through the annotation in there for me because I did just pipe it to the screen first. Yeah, because I wasn't just gonna, okay, yeah, do whatever you want to my deployment. I'm not curious.
Yeah.
And looked at what it did, and it was
and
like
you don't
pretty
want to go
harmless.
into every single manifest and say, hey, yeah, here's the annotation.
No.
So yeah, you just inject them all at one time, and that's called
I just
YOLO ops. I love that.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, I just point at my directory full of manifests. Blah, 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 blah. Inject whatever you want. And you know the word inject, that's never been associated with bad. So
yeah,
fine. So, but it worked. That was the beauty of it. For just building trust, I was super happy with how simple that was. And when it started drawing an awesome diagram, which I don't have anymore, so it's probably timed out. So all I did was port forward my environment. Am I back here still?
Okay.
Which is that not there. I created another port forward here. Yeah, and that's broken. So let's go Badung. So we can see the sock shop.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get hammered a little bit.
Some good sound effects out of you today, Steve. Badung.
Badung. Hammer the sock shop. You should be there now.
Look at that.
Right. So I was playing with, I was doing what you want to do, doing that, and just hitting some over the top refreshes on it. And I
GDPR advertising issues with that site. I think we're safe.
No. Yeah, I think so. They want to sell me. My behavior would indicate that I like to buy socks with polyester and good machine wash. So I don't know how long it took, but there, bam. I am such a sucker for floating diagrams that automatically create themselves.
Yeah.
It's good because I see what's happening. I see the direction of traffic. The only thing I was a little bit like, my instinct made me go, ooh, clicky click, click, click. Oh, no further information. But that's that. Why didn't that do that? I don't know. I thought it would do that. So,
oh, very cool.
Then I clicked through anyway, carts, and thought, all right. Then my immediate brain realized, what does this mean? Success rate.
Requests per second.
Requests per second. And what's the
P99?
P99? P9.
So like 99% of the requests have like that response time, or is it the 1% that is like extremely high?
Oh, you're right. That makes sense because there's a P75 as well. Yeah. There's a P75 as well. You can see 50, 90, 99. I'm going to blow that up.
Yeah, click on the deployment. You can see what paths were exercised on each one. Yeah, the latency of 99% to other requests because, yeah, you really care about 99% otherwise.
So if was that a suggestion? Click on a deployment. See what paths were exercised. So I click on that deployment.
And you can see what paths are available to it. So some of them haven't been used, right? But you can see...
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
This is super cool.
To from. Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah. So anyway, this is where I got excited.
Yeah.
It's great. It's
if you click on the route metrics, what does that say? You scroll down a little bit.
Oh, yep.
Just scroll. On the main. The Yeah, live
Here?
calls route metrics. No, just middle of the page there. Route metrics. Just keep
Oh,
looking.
here.
Yeah.
Jesus. Ugh. Sometimes I
Okay,
wish
so that has
I
more of
hand over
your
control.
information, inbound, outbound.
Yeah, it
Yep.
shows you how to. It shows you how to do it manually as well, which I like that.
Linkerd is
So
only CRD. Mm.
oh yeah, that's a good point because that's one of Linkerd's unique selling things is like very few CRDs. So that is
We're
like what's being
gonna
pointed out
have
there.
to have Jason on to explain the more bit, but
So we should explain to people who don't know who this person who keeps popping up on the screen is. Do you want to explain why we're listening to him and we don't think he's a crazy person or just a crazy person?
yeah, Jason, I'm not sure. I forget what your actual title is, but basically, developer advocate for Linkerd. He's one of the main voices of the project, and honestly knows way more than than both of us. So by
Yeah.
default, he is the expert.
So this,
And
right. So we're, and
just
this is like
yeah, not just a crazy
developer
person.
advocate to advocate. If I saw somebody else like hacking through the thing I'm actually really good at explaining, it can be a little bit of torture. So
Oh yeah,
this is kind of what we do to try and coax people to come on the show and put us right. But anyway,
that's the whole internet principle, right? If you want to get
yeah,
corrected, be wrong on the internet.
it empowers people. That's what it does.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is pretty awesome. I'm going to call on something which I thought was subtle but super brilliant. Was that and all these. So just something that like bakes you into the community right away.
Mm-hmm.
Like the link, like the online community meeting is here. It goes back in time. So if I saw that and thought, why don't all products have that?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the product, but I would like to be involved in the community. I would like to join the Slack.
Yeah.
I like to know the GitHub is like documentation is generally there,
Mm-hmm.
but all these other things to build a community, it's super smart and not done often enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the community meetings, especially when they're recorded, are great too, because I can go back and learn about who's involved, why they're making decisions that they're making too, right? So if you want to go and look at PSP replacements or something like that, you go to CNCF and you go to Six Security and you can understand the conversation. So there's it's an easy way to get access to a lot of the information, get people involved, and understand your project. And honestly, it's right that there's so many pings that you get. Hey, I want to be involved. How do I be involved? It's right there in the app.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's right. That kind of made me think these are the kind of people that end up graduating in the CNCF, right? They know what they're doing. Super easy. Empathy for the developer. Is that the word? That was the phrase you said?
I think that was a phrase in the article. I'm not sure I've ever heard a phrase like that for applicants. That's a new one. I
I like it.
maybe it's because they understand that working with service meshes haven't been the easiest process in the last couple of years. So
There's the challenge.
And it's built for Kubernetes, right? I think that's the obvious other thing I think we're not calling out is it uses Rust. It's built for Kubernetes. Istio wasn't built for Kubernetes, right? It adopted the container architecture after.
Yeah.
So a lot more lightweight. And that was obviously the biggest criticism of Istio is it's very heavy and hard to manage. So I'm sure I'm doing competitive analysis now for Linkerd.
We talked about this on a previous show. I think the one before last, where you said, Steve, you do Linkerd. I'm going to come back and I'm going to try and do Istio and see. Now that we've set a benchmark, like we got there in no time, and we had some live correction for how I can get it now working on my pies, which I will then go do. The gauntlet has been thrown down.
Yeah, I guess I gotta go do Istio then, right?
Yeah, that was pretty easy. Granted,
give me the harder install.
Well, if you get it to the point where you're getting what I'm getting, and I'm going to do a little bit of hammering to look at some of the numbers after this. But if you get it to there, that's one thing, because I know like Istio has other things that it can do, right? That it's not quite as simple. It's not quite as simple as probably an understatement.